dressed in fancy clothes.
Good morning and welcome to our command post here in this Chester County manhunt. I thought it would be a good opportunity to show all of you and the public just the amazing effort and the team that's been brought together in order to try and capture Cavalcante. So in just a few minutes we'll break you up into some smaller groups. We'll go through here, excuse me, and you'll have an opportunity, to see some of the operation. You may know that we shifted the perimeter last night. There was some additional information. I told you about a sighting yesterday that was around noon. That seems to be supported by some other information, another trail camera photo that we got last night that is definitely Cavalcante and puts him over in the area of Longwood Gardens. So we had moved the perimeter west. I'll be able to show you a map in here that will define that perimeter. We brought in even more people. I told you we have had a very large contingent here that's been working on this search nonstop since we became involved. What you will see is that today, with all of this other information, we pulled more people in through the night last night, some additional help from other agencies, from our own agency, and we have got somewhere north of 350, maybe close to 400 people working on this today as we speak. You may have just seen we had a helicopter takeoff over here. We've got aviation support out here. K9, my mounted detail is out. We have got numerous tactical teams that are out doing searches. We've got a large perimeter secured that is a pretty secure perimeter that we can push hard against with the tactical teams. So we're giving this a very hard push today, and I'm optimistic. We'll see how the day goes. But so it turns out it's a good day for you to be here. There's a lot going on, and I thought this way you can see some of the behind the scenes of what goes into a major operation like this.
Do you feel like you're closing in?
I'll let you know when we catch him. I feel like we have been making a very methodical, taking a very methodical approach to this whole search, and I think one of these tactics that we're using will ultimately be successful. I'm talking right now about the physical search that's going on, but there is also always the investigative effort, the technology that's working behind the scenes as well to try and recapture Cavalcante. So all of these things combined, I ultimately believe will be successful.
Is this the third or fourth sighting around Longwood Gardens, and are you going to be releasing that trail cam photo?
I don't have the photo ready to be released at this point. I'll see it.
What time and where? What time and where?
On the trail cameras, are they a delay or are they real time? Is that why there's a delay in getting them? Is it that they have to pull it hard?
The trail camera, that particular one was a delay, so it was actually from the night before. We got it last night, late last evening, but there had been a delay of nearly 24 hours on that. Earlier in the day yesterday, though, we had the physical sighting by an individual of someone matching the description of Cavalcante. The two pieces of information together lend credibility that was him.
Is there no way to watch those cameras live? Is it that they have to?
Most of the cameras, there is a way, and we're doing that. We're monitoring those from in here. Some cameras are not ours, and so we don't control that technology. We rely on others that may have a camera out there. And you've heard me ask people to check their security cameras, their trail cameras, if they have anything like that out there. And as people check those and notify us, we're at their mercy for how soon we get them.
Colonel, how tight an area do you believe he's moving around in? How small or large?
I wouldn't speculate on how big of an area. I hope and I believe we have encapsulated the area that he's moving around in with our new perimeter now. Again, I'll show you what that perimeter looks like when we go in here. You'll be able to see through some of the mapping how heavily we've covered that perimeter in just a few minutes.
Was there a burglary overnight on Schoolhouse Road, Colonel?
There was a reported break-in. It was in the vicinity of Schoolhouse Road. I don't remember if the address was Schoolhouse Road.
Was it related to this?
We're investigating that as possibly being related. We have not conclusively proved that it was, but again, in that area, and we, until we can rule it out, we'll operate off the belief that it very possibly was him.
Sir,
I heard there was some
what
issues with the
look like? What do you
communication.
see in these pictures?
The most recent picture is very similar to the picture you've already seen. He's carrying his backpack and his duffel bag. It's taken at night, so the color is not there, but we can clearly identify.
Just
Back
for
up.
clarity, when
Back
and where
up.
was the latest confirmed sighting for clarity for all of us?
The latest photo was late in the evening on the 6th, and the latest sighting by an individual was around noon yesterday.
So
Sir,
he now
the
has a
scope-
duffel
the
bag.
scope
At
of
first he
search-
had a backpack. Now
He has a
both.
backpack and a pack with like a sling type pack.
Did you evacuate or relocate residents of a assisted living facility last night, or was that
No.
part of this?
No.
It was
Sir,
reported
the
there was a
scope of
sighting
search-
last night, so you're saying that the latest sighting was at noon. Was that the picture?
No, the picture was from the night of the 6th. The physical sighting by an individual was noon on the 7th yesterday.
And that combined led to the response last night.
Yeah,
Can
what-
you
Yes,
talk about
because
what that
we
was?
didn't receive the photo until late last evening, and based on that, coupled with that observation, led us to believe we needed to adjust the perimeter.
Sir, you've now expanded the search to North Walnut last night. That is very close to the Kennett Square border. Have you searched or considered searching Anson B. Nixon Park, which is in Kennett Township, and Kennett Square? And are you searching mushroom houses on North Walnut Road right now?
We've had some calls over that way. I don't believe they're related, but again, until we can rule them out, we investigate it as though it may be. So we have members over there completely separate from the rest of this investigation, not taking anything away from the search, the perimeter, and that kind of thing, looking into that matter.
The trail
A
camera
few
from
hours ago.
Or a different camera than
Different camera.
the trail camera from the 6th, is that a private camera or is that one that you guys
It's
are
a private camera.
You say 300 or 400 officers or law enforcement here on the ground on the search. How long can you keep up that kind of manpower?
I will keep up this search at whatever tempo is appropriate for as long as we need to. He's a dangerous individual. We'll keep this up. We've done it in the past. I would think that history should allow people to see that we mean it when we say we're here to stay until we capture him.
How much of a threat is this man now to the people who live in or near Longwood Gardens in that area?
You know, I can't speak to how desperate he is. I can't get inside his head. I can tell you he's killed 2 people in the past. He's desperate. He's on the run. He does not want to be recaptured. That's why we offer the advice that people should, when they're in their homes, lock the doors, lock their vehicles, be observant. Call us. We obviously have a lot of people out there. We can be there in moments if someone sees or hears something that's concerning to them. So I mean, we're keeping them safe.
Was anything reported stolen?
I don't have that information yet. To the best of my knowledge, no. But we have investigators out there still, and I'm not aware of anything. But I can't.
Colonel,
conclude.
About 2 hours ago, there were about 8 state police cars with lights on moving east on Route 1, just outside the borough. Was that reinforcements or shift change?
I can't speak to those cars. We're moving hundreds of vehicles around here right now, so I can't speak to what those specific cars were. We have people moving into position. We have people responding to some of these other calls that are of interest or concern to us. So I couldn't
Colonel,
say what
do you have any
specific.
ideas as to why he might be hanging around the Longwood Gardens area? Is it that he can there's drinking water, or there's food he can get to, or any other kinds of reasons?
I don't know why. I can speculate, and for whatever reason, whether he's comfortable there, whether he's found what he needs there. Again, all answers to all of those things we'll know potentially when we capture him. But in the meantime, I can only react to the information that's available to me, and that's how we set the perimeter, and that's how we establish our search patterns and investigative techniques going
Senator,
forward.
Is
what
there
size number
anyone
is this
Brazil?
around the Longwood Gardens property? Is this 3 or 4 now?
It's at least 3. I would have to go back and look at the notes, see if there's a 4th one, but it's at least 3 that I can think of.
Is there sort of a
How
balance
well is the
between
communication
containment
working?
and
I'm sorry.
is there sort of a balance between containment and capture, and how do you work that? Like, are you keeping him where he is? while you're-
Containment is only to allow us to capture him. We contain him so that we can search that area and capture him.
So is that kind of the focus right now, to keep him inside that perimeter? Or
Yes.
And then
Yes.
when you get a sighting, then you react?
We're going to push that perimeter. I've got tactical teams out there that have just stepped off not too long ago, and they will push that area with aviation support canine support and mounted detail support. So there's a very large operation going on.
Do you believe you have him contained?
I hope so.
Colonel, would you characterize this as the largest police presence since the manhunt started?
This is the largest number of people that I've had here, yes.
Is your pressure? Why wasn't this amount of people deployed right away?
You know, the numbers, you will see them rise and fall. If this isn't successful, I may keep the same number depending on what the information is. We had as many as we needed for the various operations that we had going on. It doesn't do us any good to bring all of those resources and pull them from other places, because they're not just sitting around with nothing to do. They've got policing functions elsewhere when they're not here. And so there's a balance there. And if I don't absolutely need those resources, there's a cost to those as well. You know, we try to strike that balance. But rest assured that any resource that we have needed has absolutely been here, and that's why, and we can react very quickly. That's why, you know, through the evening last night when we became aware of this additional information, I had our logistics people, and again, I'll explain the operation when we go through here, but I had our logistics people immediately start pulling people, and within hours, we had a significant number of additional people here or on their way.
Is your pressure what keeps him contained here? We keep seeing him zigzag back and forth, east, west. Is it that pressure that?
I would think that has an impact on him, and that's really by design. That's, as I've said all along, my intent is to pressure him, to try and contain him and capture him. He'll make a mistake. He'll become more desperate. He'll have to expose himself, and so that's really the ultimate goal here. And so we will keep the pressure on him and keep pushing him.
Colonel,
how many
people involved, sir? How well is the communication working? I've heard issues about different frequencies, different agencies. We're getting more people involved now.
We are having almost no issue with communication. Anything that does come up is handled immediately. Some of the few questions that I've heard actually were from agencies that weren't directly involved in the search. Well, obviously I don't have direct communication with all of those agencies. But anybody that is directly involved in the search, we put a communications plan in place. I'll show you how we do some of the communications as we go through here. We've got some very sophisticated command posts and multi-agency representation here that allows us to link systems, that allows us to share communications platforms. And so we're using the technology of the statewide radio system coupled with some of the federal systems that I think we've got really as good a communications as I've ever seen on a major incident like this.
Any new message to the public in terms of community safety as we?
No, I would just continue my advice of, you know, be aware of your surroundings, whether you're in the perimeter or not. Let's take precautions. Lock your doors. You know, be aware of what's going on around your property and call us if there's any kind of a concern. But you know, nothing else has really changed. And so again, I give that advice whether you're in the perimeter or out. Some common sense and call us. We're here for you.
Has he been spotted in the trees?
You're making a push. Does that mean everyone is on the perimeter and meeting up in the center?
No. What it means is that I'm using tactical teams to sweep through an area along with some of those other assets that I talked about. The perimeter will stay secure. We can push through and push against that perimeter in an effort to try and bring him out or find him wherever he's hiding.
Has he been spotted in the trees at all?
Credible sightings?
Has he been spotted in the trees at all?
No.
How many credible sightings have there been? Are we up to 9, or what is the number on that? And can we get that list?
It's probably 8 or 9. Again, I'd have to go back and take a look. And when you say credible sightings, you know, we have a lot of sightings. There are some that we're not sure of. And I'll give you an example. Yesterday, there was some credibility to that sighting. I believe that it was very possible, the one that I talked about yesterday. Well, we got additional information that now makes me say it's even more highly credible. You know, so it changes all the time, but I think it's reasonable to say we probably have 8 or 9 fairly credible sightings throughout this time.
Are there any patterns of his that repeat themselves? Does he go back to a certain creek bed? Does he go back to a certain place that you've seen?
I wouldn't want to talk about necessarily the patterns that we've seen. Once we've captured him, I'll be happy to talk a little more about that. But all of that factors into our decisions as to how we're going to approach this. And again, we're using that experience, those lessons learned from other searches, from the experience of all of our partners here to we believe, make the best effort to quickly end this.
Did Longwood Gardens reopen too soon?
No, I don't think so. It's it's a private enterprise. It's entirely up to them when they open or reopen. We're not in a position to tell anyone that they should open, that they should evacuate, that at least not in circumstances like this. So no, I think they've been very good to deal with. We've been in close contact with security over there. They've been helpful, cooperative. We've tried to provide them enough information for them to make informed decisions, and I think they've been very responsible in the way they've acted.
Have you connected with law enforcement in Brazil in terms of learning more knowledge about his life there before he came to America?
We have a lot of information that's been previously gleaned about his background in Brazil. I think we're in pretty good shape there
Is
now.
there any of that you can share with us, that you feel comfortable sharing with us? Because the information about not only his crime, but what he did after that crime in Brazil is scarce. Is there anything you can share with us about what they've told you?
At a high level, what I would tell you is that came from a very poor background, is not foreign to hardship. After the crime that he committed down there, he did something very similar to this in the jungle down there. So it's not surprising to me that he's able to last out there for a little while. Again, he's no stranger to hardship. So I think he can probably endure for a little bit out there. But again, the whole goal here is not a contest of how much can you take out there. It's how much can we stress you, how much can we push you that you make a mistake and we capture you.
Any more detail about what he did in the jungle? Because that seems to speak to what's going on here. Is there anything you can tell us?
Was he captured after he was out?
No. No, he fled. Came to the U.S.
Thank you.
Okay. Yes, we have. It's probably been a day or two now since we've done it. We've done it a couple of times though, and right now we haven't done it today. So, okay. Tell you what, we'll